All right. Hey, ladies. Hey, ladies.
Hello, everybody.
Yes. Happy Saturdays. I'm so excited to be here. I have Stephanie Woods here today. Y'all know me, Coach Kiera. I'm your life and business coach. I help Black women in business gain clarity and focus so they're able to achieve their entrepreneurship goals. And today we're going to have a conversation around purpose and how you can activate your purpose. We have Stephanie Woods here. She is a mom of five, y'all. Okay. She's a career woman, an entrepreneur, and she is a wife. So, Stephanie, can you tell us about yourself?
Yes, hello, Coach Kiera, and thank you so much for having me. I am a mom, like you said. I have five little babies. I am a wife, but more importantly, I am a woman first, and we tend to not lose, but we tend to put ourselves on the back burner when we are those other roles. So that's why we're here today to talk about purpose and how to activate that purpose. But I'm also a business owner. So that's part of my passion. And how I fulfill that passion is what we're going to discuss today.
Yes, I love that. And can you tell them about your business, just a little bit about your business and how you got started?
Yes, so I have a catering business, Pickles and Honey, that it started when I was actually working at State Farm back around 2020, around COVID. I used to meal prep for people at State Farm, and some of the people would just have me cooking because they didn't like to cook. So it wasn't actually a business yet. But when they sent us home to work from home during COVID, I decided to capitalize on that, make it a full business. And I loved feeding people. So yeah, I did. I took the necessary steps with my husband's help and I turned Pickles and Honey. That's how Pickles and Honey was born. And it was really good in 2020. We have a huge clientele. We were able to develop business relationships in the community. And so now I'm kind of rebranding. And like I said, it was good back then, but it's going to be even better now. I've learned a lot along the way.
Yes, I love that. And we're going to talk more about that. And I love the fact that you said you built a lot of connections and
Mhm.
business relationships. Y'all, at the end of this call, right? At the end of this live, we're going to be talking about something that we're going to be hosting, Stephanie and I, and it's going to be built on business relationships and helping you activate your purpose so you can reach the goals that you want to see in your life, right? Because what I know as a woman, right, we play so many different roles. And like Stephanie was saying, she's a wife, she's a mom, she's an
Yeah.
entrepreneur, right? And she's a sister, right? She's a cousin. Like we play friend, we play so many different roles and we neglect ourselves,
Yeah.
right? Because we're so focused on everything that's going on outside of us instead of what's going on inside of us. And when we neglect ourselves, sometimes we end up in depression, right?
Yeah.
We end up stressed. We end up feeling unwanted, unneeded. Why? Because we haven't activated what's inside of us, right? And so, Stephanie, can you tell us what is the importance of prioritizing self and not neglecting self? Because I got plenty of stories of myself, like literally
Oh, yeah.
neglecting myself to put others first. And it comes from people pleasing, right?
Yeah. Well, it's a huge problem because eventually what you're doing, or essentially what you're doing is you're pouring out, you're pouring into people, right? And it's rewarding, it feels good, it's great, but then no one's refilling your cup. And a lot of us have been there, and you don't have to be a mom. So eventually you get to this point when no one's pouring into you, or you don't feel like you have the help that you need. And that's how we end up falling into like depression and things, and kind of just trying to find your identity, right? You're trying to climb out of that and just kind of figure out, who am I? What's my purpose? What am I going to do for me? you start you have to be a little selfish in in those seasons. You know, you spend so much time being selfless. So you definitely want to learn that. As a woman, I wish I had learned it early on. But I'm learning it now at 34. I'm learning it now. And so at the beginning of this year, I decided that I wanted to get to know myself even more. You
Mhm.
know, I had a lot of loss in the last couple of years. And so between grief and then motherhood and then wife, and wanting to build a business, I had to really start to connect with myself and spending a lot of time with God, because he created us in his image, right? So that's where we started. That's where I started at, spending time with God. But you definitely want to prioritize yourself and find a healthy balance so that you can be the best version of yourself. You'll be a better mom, a better wife, or friend, or sister, or life coach. You know, whatever your purpose is, you'll be able to walk that purpose out once you find that healthy balance. And that starts with spending time with God, building your relationship with Him.
Yes, I love that. And honestly, I have kind of known my purpose my whole life, right? But
Mhm.
because I was in the world, I was partying, I was drinking,
Yeah.
I was having fun with friends. I was literally doing all the things, right? I
Yeah.
was doing all the things of the world, and I knew God was calling me. It was like I was
Mhm.
always teetering, what is it called? Teetering on the fence,
Yeah.
right? And it was until I think it was the year of the pandemic, 2020. I was reading this book by T.D. Jakes, and in the book it said, "Have you answered your calling?
Mm.
Have you answered your calling?" And
Yeah.
I was like, no. Like I had to take accountability. I hadn't answered my calling because
Right.
I chose to be in the world. But
Mhm.
then at that point, I decided, you know what? I'm going to choose to be with God. And as soon as I decided that, that same year, my business was birthed. And we're going to be talking about birthing purpose. And my
Yeah.
business was birthed from pain. Becoming a coach was birthed from pain. During the pandemic, I had lost my job. I was in the
Mhm.
middle of losing my housing. Like I was going through a terrible relationship, right? So it was very traumatic for me. But I had
Yeah.
this community, right? It was a safe space for women, pretty ladies with ambition. And Stephanie is
Yes.
a part of that community, right? And I
That's
just
how we
started.
met. Yeah.
Yes, through the community, through the prayer group. And I just start speaking to the ladies, just walking
Mhm.
every day for 30 minutes, just creating these little videos.
Yeah.
And the ladies loved it, right? And so
Yes.
I was like, oh, okay. And then a coach reached out to me, and that's how I started to activate my purpose. So
Yes.
sometimes other people around you will see something in you
Yeah.
to help you activate that purpose, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You are 100% correct. And that's the thing. A lot of times, people will see you, they'll see Coach Kiera now, or they'll see Stephanie as with Pickles and Honey, but they don't necessarily know the journey. They don't know
Mhm.
the work that you put in. They don't know, maybe they don't know the steps to take. You know, maybe they see they're inspired by you, they're motivated um, to start to say, hey, what is my purpose? You know, they may see what you're doing, and it's like that's kind of where we all connected at a crucial time on Pretty Ladies with Ambition. And then we started with the vision boards, right? That was our first encounter. And I remember not completing that first vision board that first year, but the next year, here we are now, 3 years later, I made a vision board. And I don't even think I shared this with you guys right away, but I made a vision board at the park, and on there I had a few things like the vehicle I wanted. I wanted to buy my home. You know, I was already in the process of taking the steps to do these things in the business. And when I tell you, once I had that vision on paper, where I'm sitting now, this is the house that we ended up buying. You know, praise God, we bought our first home. You know, the vehicle that I had on my vision board, I said, Lord, a 3-row vehicle that I don't have to pay anything on. but connecting with you all motivated me to do that. I was so used to like starting things and not completing them, or vision
Mm.
boards, fasting, all kinds of, procrastinating, or just maybe even giving up. Maybe something didn't go how I planned. So connecting with y'all, that was a starting point to healing that I couldn't even imagine. You know what I mean? And then I remember when the day that I came home to work from home, from State Farm, I remember standing in my kitchen and hearing God clearly say, "Get your house in order." If For a long time I was like, okay, God, what does that look like? What does that entail? We have a family of 7. So what
Wow.
does getting our house in order look like? But I know that it means being obedient, walking with
Mm.
God, and everything else is going to fall into place. This business you guys want is going to, everything is going to fall into place once we begin to be obedient and walk with God.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. And one of the things it talks about in the Bible is write the vision and make it plain. A
Yes.
lot of people, they keep the vision in their head and it's
Yeah.
not coming into reality because you haven't got that pen and that paper and you haven't wrote it down, right? So what is
Yes.
the purpose of writing that vision and making it plain?
Oh my goodness. I've always struggled with writing things down, and it's just now this year where I see the importance of it and the purpose of it. So when you write your vision down on paper, once God has given you this vision, dropped it into your spirit, when you write it down, you have something to look back on. You have something to reflect on every day. This is your tunnel vision right here, right? So you don't know all the pieces of the puzzle, everything that it's going to take, that's going to require, but you know that God has given you this vision, so He is going to supply all of your needs. But being able to look at that every day, so if you have an off day, well, God has already given me this vision, so He's going to work it out. He's going to supply something better tomorrow. So having that vision on paper, it allows you to, on those hard days, to keep going. It allows you to have your why. That means everything that you are doing needs to be connected to that vision. So it may not even just be a business. The vision that God has for your family, that He's shown you, the vision that He's shown you for your business, the vision that He's shown you for a career, for the relationships, right? The connections that we're making, everything needs to be connected to that vision. You know what I mean? In order for you to not waver, to not throw in the towel when things get hard. That's why it's important to have it on paper, or it's on a board or somewhere where you can look at it every day and say, okay, this is why.
Yeah.
This is my why. This is where I'm going. The destination is, have it all written out and make it simple as possible.
Yes, and you have to have your short-term goals listed,
Yeah.
right? Because you have to start with the short-term goals so you can take baby steps.
Yes.
Sometimes we get so overwhelmed as entrepreneurs because we have these big goals and these big
Yeah.
dreams and big ambitions, right? And we have all the things written down, right? Short-term, long-term, side-term, up-term, down-term.
Yeah.
But you just want to start with those short-term goals. And the way that I'm able to accomplish so much and the way my clients are able to accomplish so much is they celebrate after every single goal that they've accomplished, right? So you have to be able to celebrate yourself. Because one thing about entrepreneurship is everybody around you is not going to celebrate you. So
Yes.
once you accomplish those goals, and that's the purpose of having coaches and mentors to
Hmm.
be there to support you along your journey,
Yeah.
right? But you have to write it out. What is it that you see, right? Do you see
Yes.
yourself? For me, I saw retreats, I saw conferences, I saw
Come on
brunches, I
now.
saw thousands of women,
Come
I saw
on.
praying, I saw meditating, I saw
Mm.
so much in this vision, and I'm like, God, how can I do this?
Yes.
How can I do this? And one day, boom, God was like, here's a prayer community. Boom, I see Stephanie. And he just starts
Yeah.
adding to the vision, and he brings help and support. The help and support, it may not come from your family, it may not come from your friends, but the help and support, it will come. Because I know a lot of entrepreneurs, they get so overwhelmed with the to-do list, right?
Yeah.
And they need help, and they feel
Yes.
like they're not getting enough support. But that's what we're here for. That's what our community is
Exactly.
here for, is to help and support you along your journey. And when we talk about birthing, right, it takes 9 months to birth a baby,
Yeah.
right? And once you birth that baby, you got your doctors, you got your neonatal nurses, you got your OBGYN. There is a group of people in there helping you birth that baby to life. And that's what we are here to do, to help you birth that baby. A lot of entrepreneurs, they think they can do it on their own, but you can't. You need help,
Yeah,
right?
you do. You do. And you said something, Kira, that I thought about earlier today. You know, your vision, if you have it on paper, if you don't have that help from, say, family or friends, it allows you to not get discouraged. You have to remember that God gave this vision to you. He didn't give it to them. He didn't give it to, other people. He gave it to you. Sorry, excuse me. Step out, please. Close the door. He gave it to you for a reason. So as long as you and God know what he's already downloaded into your spirit, and you have it on paper to reflect on, to look back to, don't give up. Start building those other connections, start networking, start asking questions, right? Sometimes we're afraid to even ask questions. Connect yourself, surround yourself with people who are already specializing in those areas. But don't throw in the towel. You have to just make new connections, and don't be afraid to.
Yes. And one of the things that Stephanie and I were talking about the other day was self worth,
Mm-hmm.
right? And knowing your self worth. And how does that play into beginning to activate your purpose, doing your self worth? And how do
Well,
you find it, right?
exactly. Well, our worth, God already tells us that we're created in his image, right? So if we're not connected to God, then it's likely you're going to be struggling in your identity if you aren't connected to God. So it's very important to stay in your word so that you can know what, when it comes to building your business, when it comes to making new connections and opportunities and things, so you can know how to connect with the right people, so you can know, what to charge for your services, so you can know. That's something I'm learning right now. Kiera and I discussed this a couple weeks back. So it's definitely, we have to see ourselves as God sees us. We have to be confident in what we have to offer. We have to be confident in our purpose. And the only way to do that is to stay connected to God so that he can continue to strengthen us as we are building.
And one of the things, and I love
Out.
that we're talking about self value and self worth. It took me a long time to build up my self value and self worth.
Mm-hmm.
When I used to work in corporate America, I knew that I was hitting the numbers and I was great, but I was
Yeah,
still being put down. Like, you're not enough, you're not good
exactly.
enough. You can't become the manager, you can't become the supervisor, but you know that there is more inside of you, right?
Yeah.
So I just felt like my self worth, it wasn't enough for that environment. And
Exactly.
then I had to make a shift, right, to an environment where it took me some time, and it's still taking me time to develop that self worth. And you have to have people around you to validate who it is you are, because God already said who it is that you are,
Yeah,
right? And
exactly.
one of the
Exactly.
things that me and Stephanie were talking about the other day was being able to listen to God
Yeah.
clearly to activate your purpose. So you
Yeah.
have to eliminate the distractions. And can
Yes.
you tell us more about eliminating distractions so you can hear God, to be able to activate what's inside of you so it can come
Absolutely.
outside of you?
Yeah. So along with spending that time with God and prioritizing time with God, we need to get outside of just, I know this is for me. Something I struggle with was just dumping my stuff out on God and
Mhm.
praying for other people and then just getting up and walking away. Not spending time in his presence to actually listen to him or even to pray for myself. So as far as eliminating distractions goes, everyone's distractions are different. You have to have boundaries in place first and foremost. And you once you have shared those boundaries, you cannot waver on them for anything. That's why you have the vision written down. That's why, so you can know when to go back and say, okay, this is what I told myself and what I told God. This is what I asked God to do. So you have to, when you are trying to activate your purpose and walk out in purpose, it's going to take some separation. I learned recently it takes some isolation sometimes, but also with that, God will connect you with new people. He is going to cultivate new relationships. Everyone connected to you needs to know your vision, or at least know where you're going, so that they can be helping along the way. So anything that isn't going to help the trajectory of your vision, it has to go. It has to go. We don't want to be connected to the wrong people, right? We don't want to just be taking opportunities or walking in doors that God never called us to. And that's what I spent a lot of time doing, not necessarily opportunities, but picking up things along the way. Okay, God, I know my purpose. I know what you're calling me to do, but at the same time, I was doing what Stephanie wanted to do. So I wasn't taking the time to listen to what I should be picking up. So we need to be praying for wisdom and discernment to know what to eliminate, what to let go of, and what to be connecting to as we are building.
Yes, I love that. And one of the things that I do often and Stephanie do often as well is we eliminate social media.
Yeah.
Social media can be a total distraction to you and your purpose and your goals
Yeah.
and your dreams because you're so focused on what everyone else is doing. You're so focused on scrolling and watching, and you're not even paying attention to what God has called you to do. I
That's
don't want
right.
to leave this earth without doing what God has called
Yeah.
me, specifically Coach Kiera, to do on this earth, right?
Mhm.
So one of the things that we have to eliminate is social media, right? You
Absolutely.
can just take a social media fast. You
Yeah.
can say, okay, I'm going to go post because if you're a business owner, majority of business owners are on social media because that's how
Yeah.
they get their clientele for marketing. You can say, I'm going to post at this time in the morning. I'm going to go back at this time in the evening and
Yeah.
check my posts, and engage with my audience, but
Hmm.
I will not be on there all day. So you have to create boundaries about your access to social media. You
That's
have
right.
to sacrifice. You have to set aside time to
Yeah.
be able to work on your purpose. Put those ideas down. Reach out to coaches. Reach out to mentors. If you
Yeah.
see something that somebody else is doing and you love it, they would love to speak with you about it, right? So you have
Exactly.
to take that time to personally develop as well, right?
Yeah. Yep. And so I'm gonna stand up and close my door here, but you'll see me, a lot of people who's already on my friends list, you'll see me eliminate social media every day. If I feel like, because like I said, I am a full-time employee as well. So if I can't focus on work or something, I will deactivate for the day. I'll be gone. But also when it comes to like our business, every day, even if we're full-time employees or have a number of other jobs, every day we should be working on something as far as our vision every single day. And your vision may not be that you're an entrepreneur, your vision may be in other things. But every day, that's why you have that vision to refer back to. You should be working on something connected to that. And that may take eliminating scrolling or eliminating going out for that weekend or something. Say, I'm going to take this weekend and I'm going to set a deadline to have this done pertaining to my business. So distractions can be the people or the social media, or but it's important too to have, like you said, counselors, mentors in place to kind of help you stay on track. Ultimately you have to take that accountability, but you have to have the boundaries in place. You have to be connected to the right people, and you have to let go of some things, be willing to let go, and remember that this is from, like, God is already, everyone has a purpose, every single person. And like you said, you, me, we don't want to leave here without fulfilling that purpose. We want to make an impact on people. We don't want to be temporary influencers. I don't want to be an influencer. We want to have a lasting impact on the people around us, the people we love, the people that we are going to be connected to, the souls that we're going to win for God, right? We want to have a lasting impact. And it's not so much about us, but we want to make sure that our purpose is bringing glory to God. And so the way to do that is to be connected to God. We don't want to be here just existing. We don't want to be here um, just getting by. We need
Yes,
to
I
have
love that.
that
I,
tunnel vision.
yes, and I love that you said the purpose is not just about you. It's not
Right.
just about me. It's not just about Stephanie. I'm reading this book and it's so good and it deals with pride. A lot of
Mhm.
us have pride and we have
Yes.
ego and we think that everything is about us and
Yeah.
it's not.
Take it
God
away,
called us
God.
here
Tear it
to
down.
each other,
Yeah.
right? To help and to serve each other. And while we're on that topic, we would like to invite you, ladies, if you're in the Bloomington Normal area, to our first Women Empowerment Brunch. It is called Birthing Your Purpose.
Yes. I'm so excited about this,
Birthing
Kiera.
your purpose. I'm so excited. Can you tell us
Yes.
more, Stephanie, about how excited you are and why you chose to do this event? Birth in Your Purpose, October 28th. Set your calendars now,
Yes.
ladies. We are having a brunch, honey.
Yeah. I'm so excited, Kiera, because like you said, when you thought about your vision, when you wrote it down, you saw conferences, you saw, helping Black women, all these things, brunches, and it's the same for me. And we shared that with one another when we finally got together in person. We both had this vision to kind of bring women together for women empowerment, to network, to connect with women in our community, to help one another in however we can, right? Because we all have different gifts, talents, passions. So that's what this brunch is about, for us to connect with women, not just in our community, right? Connect with other women to share resources for business, it may not even be for business. We want to connect with you. We want to lift one another up. We want to spend time with you and getting to know you, for all good things, all the right reasons, right? You may have
Yeah.
questions. We might have questions that you're able to help us with. So I'm super excited about this. I wanted to do brunches for a long time. Not just brunches. I just even Black expos, women empowerment movements. I see it all. I see it all. And this will be the first of many. Kiera and I were just talking about that. So I'm extremely excited, and I know that God is going to connect us with the right women. He is going to provide the resources, right? Because he's the source and he gets all the glory. So we want to connect with you, ladies, October 28th. There will be food, there will be games, there will be prizes, and just a good time, just a good atmosphere.
Yes, and I'm so excited. I'm so honored to be hosting this with you, Stephanie. Like, in my head, I still have, my self doubts because this is still going to be my first event as well that I'm hosting, as Coach
Yeah.
Kier. I haven't had anything in person. Everybody has been online, right? So I'm
Yes.
overcoming some of my fears and I'm being bold and I'm being courageous and I'm stepping out on stage just like you guys are. We are
Yeah.
all doing this together as a
Absolutely.
collective. This is a movement, ladies. This
Yes, this
is
is
a
new.
movement.
Yeah,
And we
this is
are just getting started with
yeah.
this movement.
Yeah, this is new for both Kiera and I, as far as connecting with people in person. And like she said, we are stepping outside of our comfort zone, believing that this is something that God has called us to do and that He is going to line everything up. So we want to connect with you ladies. Invite other ladies, invite someone that you feel needs to be in the room. Again, if you have any questions, whether it be pertaining to business, mental health, whether it be pertaining to resources for moms, or just you don't have to be a mom. We want you in the room. We want you in the space so that we all can grow together.
Yes, and as women, we need support.
We do.
Um,
We do.
like Stephanie was saying, we've been in a season of
Oh my
isolation,
God.
a season of isolation. And
Yeah.
it's time to start slowly coming out of isolation,
Yeah.
meeting new people, connecting with new people. Because little do you know, when you go into isolation and you come out, you're being rebirthed. You're a new
Yeah.
human being. You're not the same. You don't think the same. You don't walk the same.
Right.
You don't talk the same. So you have to get around new people who
Yeah.
think and talk and walk and believe like you
Yeah.
do. So save the date, October 28th,
Yes.
Bloomington, Illinois. Bloomington, Illinois.
Look
We
for
are
the
going to be,
flyer.
yes, 10 a.m. to 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it's going to be on a Saturday, and it's going to be brunch. We're going to have food, games, just fun and relax. And we're going to heal.
We are. And you know
We're
that
going to let
God
some
will
things
be
go and
all
heal.
throughout that thing. God will be, His presence is going to be there. We are just super excited about this. And we cannot wait to connect with you ladies. Invite someone, invite someone, invite someone. You just talked about seasons, Kiera, and the Bible talks about there being a season for everything, a season for purpose and things.
Mm,
And one of the things I think that holds a lot of people back is
mm,
being connected to their past failures, past, just connected to things of the past. It may have been years ago, and get we have to disconnect from our past, because our future is already within us. God has already placed it within us. That's done. You got the lesson from it, ladies. It's time to move forward. So don't let any past experiences, failures, or just self don't let any self-doubt in, right? That's Connect yourself. Be intentional. Be intentional. I've worked so hard. Some of the people in my circle know I worked so hard to be intentional this year, from therapy to connecting new relationships. You know what I mean? And it's been a grieving that came with that as well. But
woo!
I realized even recently, God was cultivating new relationships the whole time. New relationships. And there was no bitterness in those old ones. It's just like, come on, daughter, we gonna dig deeper. I'm gonna take you higher, and I'm going to align everything. I'm going to align. So trust me, obey me. And we want to, that's not always easy, ladies. Trusting is not always easy. So that's just another reason too to be in the room. We want to pray with you. We want to connect with you beyond this event and stay connected with you for future events. We want to know your gifts, your talents. Coach Kiera she can help explore. She's already challenging me and pushing me into
Yeah,
new areas, but I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Kiera and I have only met in person, what, two times, Kiera?
right.
Twice.
Hmm.
We've met, and I was so shocked the first time that
Right.
we met, but then the second time she showed up intentional. She said, "Meet me here. We You said you wanted to have a brunch. I want to have a brunch." So that's the type of connections that we
Mhm.
need. We need that boldness. We need to be connected to women like that to say, "Hey, this is what you said you want to do. So come on, we're gonna." we have to be intentional. We have to be intentional. No one can do it for you, but there's people that can do it with you. There's people to help you along the way. So be intentional, ladies. Whatever the vision is that God has downloaded in your spirit, write it down. I can't stress it enough. I'm still writing things down. I've just learned the importance of writing things down. Write it down, make it plain, pray over it, pray for wisdom and discernment, and then let your vision, everything that you do, be connected to that vision.
I
And
love
stay
it.
connected
Thank
to
you
God.
so much. Thank you so much, ladies.
Yes,
And thank you so much, Stephanie, for being here today, ladies.
here.
It's time to heal and it's time to build and it's time to do
Yes.
some kingdom business because it's millions and millions and millions and
Yeah.
millions of people who
That
need to hear
means,
from you,
yeah.
who need to
Yeah.
hear from you, Stephanie, who need to hear from me,
Hmm.
right?
Absolutely.
It's some
That's
work that needs to be done in this earth, and this is the first step. So I love y'all, ladies. Join
Yes,
our prayer
I love you. I
community.
love you. I love you.
I'll put the prayer community link behind here, and I will see y'all later. Bye.
Thank you, Kira. I'll talk to you soon.